All right, so the pectoralis muscles. So I'm actually going to draw the pectoralis minor first. We have two pectoral muscles, the minor and the major, and they make up what we think of as the largesse of the bulk of the chest, or the pecs, if you will. And I'm going to draw both of those. The pectoralis minor doesn't really show up much, but I thought I would throw it in there to be as accurate relatively to the process as we can. So we're going to deal with the pectorals. We've taken everything else off. I've also done the preliminary drawing. So let me get out of the camera for a moment, get my hands out, and you'll want to recreate this drawing. So you can kind of freeze screen this or take a screen capture and then recreate these drawings. We've got a front, we've got a side, a 3/4, and then we've got a different view looking kind of up into a little bit the chest. You'll see that in foreshortened view. So I want to give you some different positions to look from. And then I sketched out a little bit of the ribs too to show you. Those are going to be important where the muscles attach some. So I think we're ready now. So the pectoralis minor originates here, attaches to the carotid process, and it comes down to 1, 2, the 3, attaches to the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th rib right in through here. And it's kind of triangular in its shape total as it comes together. Kind of 3 strands, 1 here, 2 here, and they kind of come together, connected by tendon, and then the 3rd one right in through here. So that's the pectoralis minor right in through there. I'll throw a little tone on it for now, and then I'll probably blend it back, since the pectoralis major will happen over the top of that. So we can get here, we can come on the other side. So coming over from the carotid process on the lateral part here, cascading down to 3-1 up here to the 3rd here, more costal cartilage actually. 1, 2, and then right in through here, kind of cascading down here, 2, and then 3, and then attaching by ponderosus tendon. Looks something like this. Kind of breaks off a little bit like so. And then we have the pectoralis. This is the minor, not the major, but the minor strand in through here. So obviously both these muscles aid in stabilizing the chest, moving the chest up and down, flexing, bending partially, and working on the upper torso. So we go from the carotid process over here to the profile view. We're going to hit, this is 1 right in through here, 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, and 5 is what we're going to come to. So coming down to here to 3, okay, 4, and then on down to back behind, and on down to 5. Kind of a triangular fan shape in through here, layered through and over, just like so. And I'll just turn that in for just a little bit. So that's the pectoralis major there, that side. Pectoralis major now looking underneath, attaching here. So we attach, this is 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, and then 5. So this will help you learn the shape of it. So it's good to know. Like I said, it comes up less, but I thought why not? We can include the pectoralis minor. So it has a little bit of it, would be the edge of kind of a box right in through there, and then we'll shave that down a little bit. And you'd see it maybe on the other side, just let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe here, 3, 4, and then 5. They're just a little bit emerging, bouncing off the anatomy there. And then over here in the 3/4 view, over here we would see it from the carotid process in through here, or a little bit on the side over here in the front. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little low with that rib. At 5, 3 and 5. Here, coming down, processing here and then over. The whole thing is a triangle. The triangular forming through there like so. Kind of three little heads to it, straight it, and we'll tone that down. And we don't want to deal with this side too much in terms of that. So that's the pectoralis now minor. So if we think of that, so here's what I want. You can think, let's get the green pen here. So the pec minor here is attached to the carotid process, and then also the third 3 to 5 on the ribs, 3 to 5. That's going to be important. Okay. All right. So let's go down to the pectoralis major. So now we have a major muscle that shows up really strongly in anatomy of both male and female. Now also with the female form, as we understand, the breasts now also the female form, the mammary glands are located now on top of the pectoralis muscle. So we'll draw these as if they're female. We can add the breasts on top right after that, and I'll show you how that works out as well. All right, so let's work now with the pec muscles. I'm going to draw these in a darker brown. So the pectoral muscles are kind of triangular shaped too, fan shaped if you will, and they have several points of attachment by tendon. They attach to the medial clavicle region, right in through here and in. So here to here, okay? They also attach to the sternal area, thoracic sternal area, and through here, and also through here, from 1 to 6 ribs. So I'm going to put, so pec minor, and then we're going to go pec major here. M-A-J for major, and we're talking now 1 to 6. 1 to 6 rep. Important to know that. So let's count these out too. So we have 1 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then really getting 6 in here, almost down to the xiphoid, or in the xiphoid, where the xiphoid would be, close to it. Okay. Remember now that the rectus abdominis starts in at about 5, so the pectoralis major will wrap over that a little bit. All right, so we can say, okay, now they attach here, and there's also another attachment. There's a couple of places that we go to. There's 2 attachments up here, and they tend to flip over and give us this kind of flipped over looking sort of fishtail like this at the end over here. And this is on the tubercle here of the humerus in through here, the bicep area, what we call the bicipital groove. This little groove, see where I've drawn these here, here, here. You can see it here. That's where the bicep tendon will, the brachii bicep will be located. It's not there, but it's close enough to it on the inside groove of that. So what happens is we attach now the bicep muscle, fan shape, attaching to the 6th rib here. It's curved for a while, then it comes off that. So we can actually see up inside, and you can see the serratus anterior later on through there, but it comes up in through here, okay, and attaches up and over and higher up through here into that grooved, outside of that grooved area. So we have that stretching movement, okay, so that's important to see. And then we have this groove here underneath from the medial clavicle coming down and stretching over here, right in through there. So we get this interesting twist to our pectoral muscles. So it looks something kind of like this bulge in through here. Okay, it's very fan shaped. And so this feeling coming over to here feels like this. And through here we have this interesting pull of these 2 heads coming together. And so medial clavicle right in through here, all the way over across and into sternum 1 through now 6. And so I'll kind of bury this back a little. So take the pectoral minor off, and we'll just put the pectoral major now here on it. And start to show this coming across and through here. Little fan-shaped head to it. So these can be well developed in both male, obviously, and female. Now this is attached to the sternum by aponeurosis. So that aponeurosis will cover over the sternal area through here, so we can get a little more going in through here, really heading out where they flip over and turn over their attachment. It's pretty amazing how that happens. So you have that going in through there. Attaching now over through here, it gets kind of a head. This raises off somewhat, comes up through and under. This comes over in through there. So you get that kind of feeling to it. This attaches over through here, and of course, this stretches through. And of course, you might see, really you won't because of the deltoid later, but this is again the minor stretching over through here, and then you get this nice little shape. Now, it takes on the rib cage appearance, so we have that. So we don't want to lose that rib cage like feeling. Curved barrel gets a little flatter in through here, but it's not completely flat. So let's work on it now over through here. So we come over, attaching to 1 through 6 through here on the sternal area, okay, to the medial clavicle, to about here. So you're going to see where the carosid process opens up a little bit. You won't attach that far. Coming over to the tubercle groove before the brachial tubercle here, that groove in through there here, okay, and then it'll flip down, flip up like so, head out a little bit, and then underneath. So you get this kind of little fishtail over here, then coming up across, and so this might open up this way. Like so. It's a nice, beautiful kind of shape to it. Then it has a little curve to it, like so, that we have in through here. So I'm going to leave this one open with the minor showing. And this gets opened up over here later on, and you can see this again, the serratus anterior, and sometimes the lat even, but certainly serratus anterior through there a little bit. And again, this is attached through fascia, the aponeurosis of the bicep, that wider stranding in through there. Let me take my eraser. Where did my eraser go? I've got so much stuff going on. And there she goes, in through there. And it's, you know, all this is latticed with aponeurosis in through here. So 1 through 6, that attachment is. And up through here. And then down, they flip over, twist. Attaching along that area and through there. It gives you this nice kind of undercut. Hollow slightly, right in through there. All right. So why don't we go on now to the side view. So now we're going on the profile view here, and remember we're at pectoral minor here. We're at 1 through 6 now of the sternothoracic area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 it's going to cover and hang over. And so attached here to the sternum and the ribs through aponeurosis, coming on over. And as it comes over, this is going to head out a little bit. This bulges a little bit, like so, right? Up, and then free, disassociates itself, comes up through, up higher into that groove, out, not the groove, but outside the groove for the brachii bicep. And then what we have here from the medial clavicle area attaches here, the bicep here, about right there, that's going to come over and overlap and come on top, and then attach down here. The tendon is here, so it overlaps in an area, so you get this nice little pocket of tightness here and here, and it comes over in there. You'll see it all the time. Really tight. It's a really beautiful kind of area on both the male and the female. Right, this comes over a little bit, right into this. This wants to come underneath now. Whoops, wrong color. Right through here. This comes underneath and attaches over and through here, and this wraps nicely around, fan-like shape, and so we're on top of the pectoralis minor, and this wants to come in through here as well. So we have that too as well. So one thing I haven't talked about is the nipple line and breast. So the nipples come out about 45 degrees from the chest here. This is 30, 60, 90, but it's just a 45 relationship, and it's right here. I'll show you that. About from the center of the sternum, roughly, about 45 degrees. So if we're here, 45 is roughly here and through here. So we're coming out generally right in through there. So that nipple line is there. You'll see that, and then you'll see the nipple fall in many different configurations. Right in through there. We won't go into too much detail. And we'll talk about the female breast form here too as well. What we have is fatty mammary gland tissue with the ability to produce nourishment for childbearing, for children in the female. And we have that now coming out. We'll go 45 degree on the other side. I guess we'll kind of make this right side male and this left side female for instructional purposes here. Okay, so we have that. And what we find is on top here, the breast forms in many different configurations, but they'll come off of the pectoral, and depending upon the size, we'll do relatively young female, will be more taut over time. We'll attach to that form up at the top too, onto those pectoralis muscles. That fatty tissue to do there. We'll get more of the grooves now back to the ribs and just outline what that could feel like through there, through here. There we go. So we have that. And really, if you think of their form, it almost seems obvious. I mean, breasts are so talked about in culture, especially Western culture and American culture, since I'm in the U.S. is no different. So they're talked about and fussed over quite a bit. And it would seem obvious that we would know this form well, but it's truly an egg form, truly a cylinder, moving right around. And that nipple will generally rest, depending upon that. Could be a little bit lower. Put it about right into here, about 45 degrees coming out. And I'll just gloss over that for now. Get the areola and the little more extended nipple of the female form in through here. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then you get these ribs, 9, 10, 11, and 12, false ribs, etc., kind of coming down in through this range and through there. So there you go. That's the female breast coming on there. And then we'll do this in profile over here. So remember at 45, roughly coming down. So it's almost the feeling of the costal cartilage line, maybe a little bit outside of it to here. Okay. That nipple can fall out. That might be a little, in profile, that might be a little long, but I'll work with it, reshape it. So we're coming out here, and again, make sure we're in camera. This is a true kind of teardropped egg form, isn't it? Like so. So this might be the breast hanging on here, and then up through here, like so, attaching. And so breast augmentation or deconstruction, if you will, this incision is made here and this opens up and then material can be taken out or included in that area. It makes it pretty easy. And then the nipple in this direction is flat or curve here, and then you have the areola and the nipple can come out like that. And that is also a tube and a cylinder for nourishment. So this might be a little wide coming out here, attaching on, and we get the pear shape roughly in through here. So you can kind of make a ball out of it, see, like this, around, and then it attaches up in this top area over to that kind of underneath. And I'm going to make a little, this one a little bit darker. Pop that out a little bit so we can see that that goes into more of a cavity through here, because actually what would happen over here is the serratus anterior would come over here too as well. They would start to come around. I'm not going to draw too much of them. That can get a little darker and in through here. We have that. And so we have this breastbone coming in. And I'm going to actually change that green line a little bit. I'm going to move it to about right here. Just a little bit. So that's, we have false ribs. That's a false green line. That's a little too far out in perspective. So it's actually, sorry about that. So it's actually about right here. Everybody makes mistakes, right? So about a little bit more encouraged by that line, actually. More so than the other. So we have that. And then we have the, and this is true, actually true more profile. Even through here, we would actually see this breast could come over, even in this view, about right. Something like that even. Come on down. You can see that. So we have this here, and this, we'll just cover this up darker. And that would protrude out a little bit like so. In that case, maybe we'll take a little bit of erasing back. Put a little of that nipple, maybe a little bit of white. That shows through pretty decent. I think that has it. So we get that breast form going through there. So now we have the pectoralis minor and the major, and now a female breast form on top of that. So let's now work these more difficult poses over here. Let me take a swig of a drink so we can talk about that. And add these muscles on top. So the minor, you see, we've already included in these views. We've already done that. And so the major now, we want to remember 1 through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right in through here, attaching onto the sternothoracic area by aponeurosis, and through here, and that comes, it sheathes over. We're here at the medial clavicle line to about here, right? And then we're going to stretch now all the way over. This is kind of over more so to there, to right in through there, the medial clavicles. That's going to stretch. This is going to show you how open this is. Then we're going to come across. This is going to come over actually more so than what I have with the rib. Like this. This is going to attach to the rib and then start to come up and over. This is coming, stretching these, this part is coming over now, stretching to here. Well, this one's got to get all the way up to there. Well, it's going to come underneath here and go underneath all the way up to there, right? And so we have the ribs over here, right? I'll just fill them in. And so this gives us kind of an opening for the underarm, because the serratus anterior is over here, and then it starts to come over, finger over, right? Remember that? So in through here and like so. And this gives us a nice more hollowing out over here. I'll clear this up and make this really clean in a moment. So this is going to come over all this. Okay, so let's darken this in now. So we've got that. We come over. This is here, up and underneath, and then this is going to come down from the medial clavicle all the way over. It's going to pull all this over and under, and this turns really under underneath here. So we have this nice opening underneath here to get these other muscles coming through. Serratus anterior, etc. So we get this nice darker space, if you will, under there. We get more of this head here. This could turn like so. Really bulky this way. And of course this part attaching 1 to 6 will pull, really start to stretch since the arm is pulled over. It will pull in this direction, won't it? Right in through, up through that tendon part of the area located on the humerus next to the biceps brachii groove, right in through there. So we have that feeling coming underneath as well. And of course the other side would be over here, of course. So 1 to 6 here, and then up and over like so, and this would bulge out a little bit as it comes through and around to the clavicular side. This would get a thickness. We could shave that down a little bit. Okay. And what happens now is this will run over. Look at that initial tone, attaching to the sternal area, to the ribs. We don't see it lift off over. You can see that buried underneath now the pectoralis minor. You can see, at least we know it's there. And we see this ponderosis covering here, and then of course this is going to stretch, 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 like so. This will be more of a flatter head in through here. So we have that pectoral now on the top and over. More ribs coming through and up around. This will be a thickness, roughly through here, because of their thick quality to them. It's generalization through here as a quicker diagram. All right, so we have that now, and then if we put a female breast on there, female breast form coming out, if we can remember the idea at 45 and down here, I'm going to put one on, I think I'll outline both. So roughly out at 45 here, and then out roughly at 45. Keep on going at 45 here. What we have then with these breast forms, and I'll have to do just mostly an outline. That tube a little stronger here and here. There we go. Here we go. I'm on a time schedule. Sorry about that. I have a class a little bit later. Trying to get these done in between classes sometimes. Now we see this breast coming up. The breast, depending on its size, will flatten because it's laying down, correct? And so it's going to come down a little bit. And so we're going to see more of an egg form that might do this. Will flatten out a little bit further here. Okay. And then we'll see one coming, attaching and flatten out. This will be larger since we're a little closer to it here, and attach this way. So we see the female breast form here, and then the nipple will come over, cover over, and could be probably, will be flatter too, more disc-like in through roughly this area. Same thing coming over and tip out roughly kind of like that, sitting down as well. This will attach back up and over. And there we go. So we have female form sitting that way too, with the breast forms on top of all that material, the pectorals as well. Right. So let's go on now to our 3/4 view over through here, our last view over through here. We can hollow this out a little bit. There we go. Have that hollowed spine coming through, vertebrae. Now the muscle here, so we can go 1 to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right in through here, attaching to the thoracic area, through the rib area, okay, through here, through the 6th rib, roughly right in through here, okay, and then up the medial clavicle area to this part to about right in through there, okay. And then we know that this is going to overstretch. We want to overstretch the tendon in through this part lower than. So it's going to come over and attach right through there, okay, and then reach here and come over the top here, over this, more so here, right. This is going to stretch like so, and then come over and wrap around and feel that kind of rib cage wrap come through here. Underneath here, we're going to come here and then start to lift off here, get thinner in through here, okay, still break, blocky-ish, and then come back up and attach up underneath, actually about like that. Let me erase that out a little bit, right in through here. There we go. Make sure I get that shape the way I want it. Up and through, pushing down and around until you get that feeling of this coming through and attaching, and you get the thickness like that. This has a thickness here, and then it generates and comes down this way through there. Get a little bit of the rib pushing through here, etc. It comes down through that way. Put that back in through there. And so we have that pectoralis major now in through there. I'm going to leave it like that, and then let's put the general pectoralis form on this side, and we'll put a female breast on this side. Here and over, we know it's medial clavicle here, right? And so it would come down and out. I don't have enough room for the humerus, but that's okay. Out, down, and around. Then it would come in, okay, right on top of these pectorals, right in through there, and you can have the rest in through here. Okay, and then we have a female breast we'll put on top. Coming out now. Where's my trusty green marker? There it is. Okay. Roughly out to here from 45, maybe downward a little bit further, down at 45 obviously. There we go. Through there. And then let's put a female form on again, so attaching roughly here, a little bit more fattier tissue coming around. It's probably a little bit closer to that, coming through and over, around, and through. Have that, and the nipple will come out about right in through here. In a young person's nipple will stand up and out a little. For the entire breast, the muscles will, over time, start to sag. That's a cultural phenomenon we talk about in many cultures. That's a part of that. Of course, this gets shaved over and through here. I'll just leave it at that. We have that xiphoid process in through there. A little triangle ossification that tendon attaches to aponeurosis. And then if we could put the oblique, the center line there, right? So remember that the rectus abdominis is higher at 5, right? 5 to 7. So it's high here, 6. So 5 would be here. So it's up here, right? Coming down the nipple line. So it would start here and come down right here. And there's your rectus abdominis right in through there, right? So you start to know this, you can start to feel your way through all these forms together. It's good to separate these out. And then when we have a living anatomy, it's good to see them on the model, group them together, and start to practice it. Right now, this is practice too, obviously, but it's a kind of understanding that we're grouping and doing these drawings for learning. It's good for me to redo these, what I've known for a while, a good long while, but kind of have to put it together again. It kind of, for me, it's also kind of my own visual record of my own little sketchbook here, what I've been lecturing for years, but now it's kind of codified in these videos. So there's the pectoral muscle right in through there. And we could say, okay, the rectus abdominis here, right? Coming off 5, running through nipple line downward, coming off down. We hit some of these muscles until they get to the belly button and through here and around the oblique. Right, coming over. We all remember that kind of thing. All right, I think we have enough information to go off of now with our drawing. So that's the pectoralis major, and also now the minor. Important muscles of the chest that are very much a part of everyday anatomy that certainly we deal with. Some are much more pronounced than others. There's subcutaneous fat, on top of these. If there's a lot of fat there, but then a lot of definition in those chest muscles. So try to go for just the average everyday look for the most part of what we're trying to do here. Okay, there we go. So the pectoralis major and minor, and also how the breast form, female breast form, sits on top of the torso and the pectoral. All right. Okay. I'll see you next time.